Hi everyone, a very good afternoon. I hope I am clearly audible and visible. So I welcome you to this session. And yes, tomorrow is SNAP. I am sure all of you are very well prepared. Just trust your preparation, okay? And you will do well. If you follow whatever strategy you've evolved for yourself in the mocks, right? If you've attended various sessions, if you've prepared on your own, trust me, you are going to do well. Okay, so on this note, let's begin this session. Hi Chirag, hi Varun, hello Madhuri, Jasuman, a very good noon. Right. So, what's the agenda of today's session? We will, of course, learn some general English tips. That's the name of the session, right? So, we will do this through some questions. Okay. I'll show you some questions, a couple of questions, and through them, I'll show you how you can navigate various questions in general English. Then, of course, I'll give you some exam day tips because the exam is tomorrow itself, and some general strategy tips. Although you know them by now, I'm just going to sum them up for you, right? Okay. Namaste, Guru Prasad. Hi, Divyashri. Hello, Mandeep. Yes, I'm well. I hope the same for you. Okay, Varun is asking that yes, there was this one question that asked you something on, yes, it questioned you on British English, American English. I remember that, right? It may come this time as well. And anyway, for IIFT, in case you are targeting IIFT, IIFT also tends to ask you, okay, from which English or from which language has this word been taken? Okay, so for instance, it asked about soccer. So, is it from American English? Is it from British English? Where has it originated? So, it's not that this question type is unique. It's something that you will prepare for IIFT also, right? So, don't worry about it. The question I remember was easy and you will be able to distinguish. See, for instance, in British English, American English, uh, to give you an example, sometimes the spellings of various words are different, right? So you must have noticed this that in MS Word, when you type, let's say, the word recognize. Now we follow British English, so our spelling is ISE, but then Word tends to change it to, or recognizes this as an error. It says that put a ZE. Why? Because ZE is the spelling that is recognized in American English and MS Word follows American English, whereas SE is the spelling that is recognized in British English. So I remember the question was again something very common which students could actually guess whether it was from whether the word was from British English or American English. Okay, all right. So good afternoon, Yash. Hi, Amrit. Mandeep is asking, is it belongs to me or it belongs to I? You tell me. Yes, others tell me. It belongs to me or it belongs to I. Which is correct? Yes, correct, Amrit. Color, color. So OUR is British English, OR is American English. Okay, so this is again one difference. It belongs to me or it belongs to I, which is correct. And if anybody can give me the reason also, that would be great. Belongs to me. Why though? Why not I? Sorry. Yeah, why not I? So the thing is, see, we already have the subject of the verb belongs. The verb is belongs here, the action of belonging, right? Now, the subject is it. This it could be anything. Let's say I'm talking about a pen, right? So I have the subject of the verb. Now, to is a preposition here, isn't it? To is a preposition. After a preposition, we put a noun or a pronoun, which is called the object of the preposition. What is it called? The object of the preposition. So actually, a preposition as a part of speech exists as a phrase. Phrase means a group of words. So here the phrase is preposition plus the object of the preposition. So here after this I need the object of the preposition, a noun or a pronoun that comes after the preposition and is governed by it. Okay. So the pronoun will be an objective pronoun and that's why me. I is a subjective pronoun. Right? Good. All right. Coming to Yes, we have a couple of poem questions also. Super Suplekar, if I'm pronouncing this right. All right. Parts of speech. See again, when we cover a couple of grammar questions, some will be covered there, right? Okay. The world will be a better place to live, or the world would be a better place to live. So, Madhuri, both are correct. Neither is grammatically incorrect. Okay. So, when I say the world will be a better place to live, I am pretty certain of it. I am pretty sure of it. Okay. So, it shows surety. So if I say, if all of us start keeping our surroundings clean, the world will surely be a better place to live. Right? So I am pretty sure about it. When I say would be a better place to live, I am, of course, it's a future scenario here as well. It does not become a past scenario. Although would is the past tense of will. Okay, one of the functions of would is to be the past tense of will. However, still I'm talking about the future only. Here I am just relatively less certain. Okay, so relatively less certain as compared to will. Both are correct. Okay, all right. So possessive pronoun. Possessive is my or mine. Possessive is my or mine. Okay. Figures of speech may be asked. Maybe. Okay. Madhuri is asking in 2020 this question came, so which option should we choose? So Madhuri, was this the only sentence, as in was there something else to it, or was just this mentioned, the world will be a better place to live, or the world would be a better place to live? If nothing else was mentioned, will be a better place to live versus would be a better place to live. If nothing is mentioned, nothing else is mentioned, and I have these two, okay, and I just have these two sentences, then I would go for A, right? I would go for A because usually, this would, when I say the world would be a better place to live, this comes with certain conditions attached, right? This comes with certain conditions attached. That if, let's say, if all of us kept our surroundings clean, the world would be a better place to live. So, if let's say just this much was given to me, I would choose this A, right? Okay, okay, okay. Fill in the blank it was. So then will, choose will. Okay. In case there is nothing else. All right, all right. So let's do one thing. Let's cover one slide and then I take up one query. Let's do it that way, right? So I'm sure that by now you have seen ample videos by our experts where we talk to you about how time management is crucial in Snap because there is no sectional time limit as such. So one strategy that you can follow is what Gautam sir has very recently told you, right? That you divide your sectional time like this. Okay, 8 minutes for English, for general English, then 25 minutes for your logical and analytical reasoning, and the remaining 20, I mean, not the remaining, 22 minutes for your quant DIDS. And then the 5 minutes that you're left with, then, spend on those sections which are either your strength. So let's say if logical and analytical reasoning, you feel that you saw some questions there that you can solve, right? And you are generally also good at it, go for that. Or if you saw some easy questions here wherein let's say at that point you left them because उस time पर ऐसा लग रहा था कुछ dicey है but अब वापस जाके हो सकता है, then spend the remaining 5 minutes on that particular section, right? So that's what he suggested to you. And in this time division, these are the marks that you are targeting approximately: 11 marks from your general English, 15 from your logical and AR, then your 14 marks from quant DIDS, and the remaining 3 marks from the section that is your strength. So either follow this strategy, right? It's a section wise strategy. Or in case you have been following some other strategy which has been working for you in your mocks, please go by that strategy, right? A strategy that students sometimes prefer because it's a 60-minute test and they want to maximize their score by capitalizing on all the easy questions is the 10-10-10 strategy, wherein they spend 10 minutes on each question, each section in the beginning, not each question, like 10 minutes on each section in the beginning. They try to, gauge the difficulty level of each section and go for all the easy questions, as many easy questions as they can of each section in these 10-10-10 minutes. So whatever has worked for you in your mocks or the section wise strategy, In case you've tried this 10-10-10 strategy and it has worked for you, then go by this strategy, right? So, okay. Now, let's take up one query of yours. So, what is it that you're saying? Possessive, I addressed. You remember the statement that posted. Okay, Sam is on hospital, not at all, Sham. On would be incorrect. Hospital is not simply a two-dimensional surface, right? So on is incorrect. All right. Yes, Varun, you can register. Watch this session, Snap College versus percentile. We conducted this session wherein we talked to you about the percentiles, the scores that various colleges under symbiosis accept. Okay, so at a 37 also you can get some colleges, provided you are willing to go for the courses that they offer, right? Okay, all right then. Let's have a look at the next tip. Again, it is a general tip. See, for each section, for each question, don't make wild guesses as such. I understand that it's 1/4 negative marking. So calculated guesses are okay. Let's say you narrowed down to two options and you still have a 60-40, 50-50 pe mat karna, right? If you have a 60-40 hunch, okay, 60% this is the answer, then of course you can go for that option, but don't make completely wild guesses. Okay, in vocabulary, let's say, don't do that. So be a good judge, gauge the difficulty level, okay, and then accordingly make your guesses. If it's an easy question, you're 60% sure this is the answer, ज़्यादा difficult question नहीं लग रहा है, ठीक है, कर दो. Make probability your friend. Okay, what I mean is don't then spend the rest of your time in becoming certain about this. अच्छा 60 लग रहा है, should I mark this, should I not mark this? So don't get stuck there. Make probability your friend. If you're 80% sure about something, mark it, proceed. Okay, don't even look back, right? So don't make wild guesses. I hope you'll remember this. Just because there's 1/4 negative marking, that does not mean that you'll mark each and everything. This usually happens in general English with students. Don't do that. Okay. Also, a question may be wrong. This has happened in Snap in the past. So in case your answer in, let's say, quant or logical reasoning is not matching any of the options, please do not think that, okay, mera hi galat aa raha hai and keep on resolving it, right? Don't do that. A question may genuinely be wrong, right? Okay. Tricks for spelling correction, super. See, what I recommend is that, let's say you are given a word. Let's take the word. Mm, okay, this is what is coming to my mind right now. ENNUI only, right? And you've been given 4 different spellings of this. Okay, so first, before proceeding, before reading all the options, in your mind, after reading the first option or any one option, in your mind, think what spelling you have read in various contexts. Okay, and then see where that option, where that spelling is in your various options instead of reading all the options. Because what happens is when we read all the options, our mind becomes a little biased towards one or the other options and we get confused कि अच्छा ये थी या ये थी, right? So frame it in your mind first, recall it to your mind first, and then look at the options, remaining options. Okay. Figures of speech, you should know the concepts behind figures of speech. It's not something that you can attempt without, let's say, a knowledge of what a simile is, what a metaphor is. That knowledge is required, right? So match the following is a question type wherein you are actually in a good position, because even if you do not know all the figures of speech, let's say there, right, but you know that here as or like has been used in this sentence, this is definitely a simile. Right, this is definitely a simile. So B is indeed 4. Now, eliminate. Use the power of elimination. It's the single most important power that you possess in the exam, right? Use it. So maybe then you are able to narrow down to 2 options based on this B4. Then your job is to look for 1 or 2 other such sentences that help you to, let's say, identify the correct answer. So in match the following, you are lucky because you need not know the figure of speech of each and every sentence there. Okay, just elimination will help. Okay, so now some general English tips. See, as I said, use elimination in general English. In grammar, in vocabulary, it will work in both. I'll just demonstrate it to you through some questions. In vocabulary particularly, use grouping. Again, I'll demonstrate it through an antonym question. Let's see a question then. See, in grammar, why have I written this? Because here you just have to spot the error. You are not asked to correct the error. So it may be an easy question type. For example, let's have a look at this question and tell me what the answer should be. Yes. All right. A, neither. Okay. B, all right. Someone earlier said that biscuit is American English. No, no. Varun, biscuit is British English, cookie is American English. See, one trick, one hack that I apply here is whatever is more common for me, no, that most likely is British English because India follows British English, right? So in your general, in your daily life, we all say biscuits, right? In our daily lives. I have not seen a lot of people saying, will you have cookies? We always ask our guests, would you like to have some biscuits? So biscuit British English hai, cookie American English hai, right? Okay, all right. A, C, B. Okay. So I've got a lot of C's here. Just a second. Let's see if you are correct. So he should not eat it. He should not eat it. Comma. Comma is also correct. Nor you should. Is this correct? Nor you should. What should I write here? Hmm. Nor should you. बिस्कुट तो फिर इंडियन इंग्लिश हो गई वो ना ब्रिटिश इंग्लिश है ना अमेरिकन इंग्लिश है नॉर शुड यू गुड अमृत नॉर शुड यू see this is something that you should remember for all your sentences whenever you know see first of all these are two ideas two independent clauses if I have to talk in strict grammar terms this is one independent clause he should not eat it should not eat it. Okay, then this was also a separate sentence. You should. We just have skipped the not eat it part because it is implied. Because it is implied when you join the sentences. Yeah, yes. So that's why हमने उसको delete कर दिया. But otherwise, these were the two ideas, the complete ideas. He should not eat it. You should not eat it. So I joined this using the coordinating conjunction nor. Remember coordinating conjunctions? We discussed them. Fanboys. Yes. So nor was a coordinating conjunction there. So with a comma and a nor, I joined these two independent clauses. But the point is whenever my sentence begins with a negative word like not, nor, hardly, barely, rarely, a subject verb inversion happens. And you must be thinking, what is that? Subject verb inversion. बेसिकली हम जो सब्जेक्ट के बाद जो पहला वर्ब आता है ना उसको पहले कर देते हैं एंड सब्जेक्ट को बाद में कर देते हैं वी पुट द वर्ब दैट कम्स it could be a helping verb it could be a modal verb that comes immediately after the subject we put it before the subject and put the subject later on so it will become you nor should you that is why we have sentences hardly had I left the house when it started raining hardly had I left why am I saying had I left again hardly is a negative word right so subject verb inversion is happening had I left clear why that Mayur see if I'm specifically pointing towards something then I'll say that but if I'm not pointing towards anything I just want to refer to it the pronoun it also does the job it is also referring to something so that when you're specifically pointing to it that will be required at that point okay so you should not eat it nor should you C was erroneous good most of you said C now you know the detailed logic behind it as well okay let's have a look at this one. You have to find the incorrect sentence. Can nor be used without neither? Absolutely, yes, Pranav. Nor can be used without neither. See, neither nor is a correlative conjunction pair. Okay, so they do come together. However, Neither can also be used without nor, and nor can also be used without neither. They have individual identities also. Neither is a pronoun. Neither is a pronoun when used alone. Okay. Nor is a coordinative, instead of a correlative, coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction when used alone. Okay. They can both be used alone. Okay. Varun says B for this one. Okay. Should come instead of were. A was should come. Why? Their love and their ambition. Their love and their ambition. Okay, okay. All right. D also I've got. Some of you say D. That's it. A versus D. So this one, of course, I made this relatively trickier. Okay, just to show you that your error spotting questions can be of two types. This is more of a find the incorrect sentence question. Now, centered in him is not grammatically incorrect. I understand that usually we say centered on something, centered on a point, right? Again, it comes down to whether you are treating him as a point or as an area. Remember, we did this in the last lab. I told you that in is the preposition of area, on is the preposition of point. It could be centered in him also if you are treating him as a three-dimensional area type of a thing. So centered in him is not incorrect. So whenever you have such a query, so for instance, you feel that it could be centered on him also. So keep it on hold. Don't reject this option then, but look at the other options also. Bread and butter is his only food. So because I'm saying food, of course I need a singular verb. So is correct, isn't it? So bread and butter is his only food. Nothing wrong with it because I am treating it as one thing. Bread and butter collectively as one food item, one dish. So this I can reject immediately. ये मुझे correct लग रहा है बिल्कुल देखने से. ठीक है? Coming to C. According to the present market rate, 12 dozen costs 50 rupees. So 12 dozen of what? That comes to our mind. So just recall sentences. 12 dozen bananas, 12 dozen apples. Have you ever said 12 dozen apple, 12 dozen banana? No, right? That means this expression 12 dozen is a plural expression, isn't it? 12 dozen apples, 12 dozen bananas, 12 dozen articles. It could be anything, right? So this has to be cost then. So now I have become doubtful of this also. I'll not reject this either. Let's have a look at D because some of you said D. I have finished two-thirds of this book. Why students think that this is an error is because your mathematics, your quant questions do not take care of this. Actually, the moment the denominator becomes plural, whenever the denominator is plural in a fraction, okay, we should add an s. So it's two-thirds. Two-thirds. Sorry, the moment the denominator and also the numerator becomes plural, numerator also becomes greater than 1. That is also required because when I say one-third, it is one portion, right? But when I say two-thirds, so these are two portions, isn't it? So the moment the numerator becomes greater than 1, let me put it like this. The moment the numerator becomes greater than 1, अगर proper fraction है तो denominator usually उससे बड़ा ही होगा, right? So one-third तो one-third रहेगा, but two-thirds, three-fourths. You see my point? ये two parts हैं, ये three parts हैं out of four. ये two parts हैं out of three. So it is going to be plural and there is going to be a hyphen between them. Two-thirds, three-fourths, four-fifths, okay, five-sevenths. Five parts हैं because वो. So this is plural, right? This is correct. No problem here. So this was a tricky question, right? I framed one question to be tricky, one easy, just to show you that, okay, even in error spotting, I can frame such a question where although you're asked to spot the error only in a way, but the question type is different, the difficulty level is different. So सेंटर्ड इन हिम में इतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जितना कॉस्ट्स में प्रॉब्लम है, बिकॉज डजन इज अ प्लूरल क्वांटिटी. ओके, व्हेनेवर आई से डजन to describe something or to refer to something, it is a plural quantity. So cost C is actually the erroneous one here. Make sense? Okay, 2/3. Okay, so Ekta, the answer is C. The answer is C. C was the erroneous one. The others are fine. This is correct. This is also correct. Plural verb is needed because their love and their ambition, two things. Centered in him is correct because they are treating him as an area here, right? And not as a point. Okay. Bread and butter is correct because I'm referring to food. And this is the erroneous one. Here the subject is 12 dozen. The subject of this verb is 12 dozen. It's a plural subject. So we need a plural verb. Market rate is not the subject because this is just a phrase. This is just a phrase. Subject का concept ही verb से arise होता है. What is, we call it the subject of a verb. So because there is no verb in this phrase, there is no concept, there is no question of a subject existing here. Okay? Hope this makes sense. थोड़ा सा सह लेंगे. Okay, great, great. That's the spirit, Mohit. That's the spirit with which you should go to the exam. Yes, बच्चे, that's because whenever, see, 12 dozen, although dozen में s नहीं लगता है, but is a plural dozen is a plural entity, so to say. Okay, that's why we say 12 dozen bananas, 12 dozen apples. So dozen is plural noun by construction. It is used as an adjective also, then also वो plural noun के साथ ही use होता है. You get it? So that's why costs nahi hoga. Costs as a verb is a singular verb, isn't it? Cost hoga. Okay. Hope this is clear to you. All right. So these were two error spotting questions. For the previous one, most of you identified that C is erroneous, right? Here again C was the incorrect one. Okay. Now coming to vocabulary. So in vocabulary, see, fill in the blanks, or basically what I want to say here is contextual vocabulary. Vocabulary wherein you have some surrounding words for help. That may be easy. So, I mean, of course, you should definitely give such questions a shot. If grouping is possible, then please use grouping in the direct questions, the synonym antonym questions. So we'll look at an FIB also and a synonym antonym also. Right? So Pranav, don't let, that means it's a psychological thing. Yes, it's a psychological thing then. So don't let your, how can I say this? See, we need to have faith in ourselves. Everything begins from there. I have seen a lot of very sharp, bright students who, just because they are not confident in themselves, don't perform that well in the exam. Don't be one such student. You know, your confidence, your hopes from life should always be high. That's the first step to achieving anything in life. If you don't have that right in the beginning, वो precondition है, वो intelligence से भी ज़्यादा बड़ी precondition है. I'm telling you this today. Okay, if you don't have that, then it becomes difficult to achieve anything, even if you are intelligent. So always go with that faith that okay, I have prepared to the best of my ability. Fine, I am good at some areas, I am not good at some. I have to now capitalize on my strengths in the exam. Okay, and whatever I mark with the knowledge that I have eliminated. जब मैंने सारे steps follow करे हैं, then it will not be incorrect. So you need to have that faith. Okay. All right then. With this piece of gyan, let's attempt this question. Fill in the blank based on vocabulary. So as we learned, see, when you ask the difference, actually it's the way a set of people started speaking language or started spelling certain words. So Britishers speak, pronounce and spell certain words in a particular manner, or have certain words to describe certain things, whereas Americans evolved some different spellings, different pronunciations and different set of vocabulary words. So that's the difference between British and American English. For instance, biscuits versus cookie. So in American language, you'll see a lot of people uh, referring to cookies in their everyday life, whereas we call them biscuits. The method of preparation is also slightly different. That's also there. So probably because cookies became more, that way of preparation was more popular in America. That's why the people there started calling them cookies. So it's about people actually. जैसे लोगों ने बात करनी शुरू करी वैसे words, spellings, pronunciations create हो गए. Right? And there are a number of such differences. I can't list all of them at one place. Okay. So 2, 1. All right, all right. Okay. So we vacated the shelter as the storm vanished. Storm, what does vanish mean? एकदम से गायब हो जाना. Yes, to just disappear suddenly. So it's a storm. Uh, the storm vanishing versus the storm abating. Sorry, just a minor power cut. It will be back very quickly. The storm's chances of gradually, slowing down in its intensity, that makes more sense with our vacating the shelter. So we took shelter when the storm was raging, let's say, and then as it, reduced in intensity, as it probably weakened, that is when we vacated the shelter. So two fits the best here. Vanish as an expression here with storm first of all, and with this idea of our vacating the shelter does not fit as much as abated does. Okay, storm एकदम से, it's not, he is not a magician. The storm is not a magician, right? कि वो एकदम से गायब हो गया, वो reduce हो गया. That makes more sense. So it weakened, it reduced in intensity. So this was about understanding what was being talked about, in what context was it being talked about. Okay, and I used some similar sounding words here. Baited, okay, versus abated, vanished versus vanquished. This was done last year in your exam also. They asked some common confusables, right? So that's why I framed this question. Vanquished, everybody knows. We have done it in our vocabulary sessions, haven't we? Vanquished. So to vanquish someone is to defeat someone. Okay, so defeated is vanquished, right? So the victor and the vanquished, you can remember it like this: victor, the person who wins; vanquished, the person who's defeated. Vanquished. To vanquish is to defeat. To defeat. To vanquish the enemy. Okay. Bait. B-A-I-T, bait. What is that? A very common word. It's not even a vocabulary word. देखो कितना डेडिकेशन. करेक्ट मोहित. वैनिश मैंने दिखाई दिया कि कैसे होता है, तो स्टॉर्म का चांस कम है ना ऐसे होने का. यस. सो बेट. If you bait someone, or if you use something as a bait, you're trying to trap someone. Yes, to bait is to trap. Okay. So the answer is 2 here, abated. I hope it makes sense. All right. Synonym antonyms wrong. Okay. As much as possible. Mm. Sambuddha, I absolutely empathize with you. The thing is that it's not always the case that the words that we read, we learn, they are the ones that appear in the exam, right? Moreover, if let's say you're taking BYJU'S mocks, students have told us that our mocks are relatively trickier, right? Which is always the intention behind mocks. Secondly, see, with synonym antonyms, it's always going to be a 50-50 scenario that, okay, the words that do appear or don't appear. So in that case, our best bet is that we try to recall if we have heard that word somewhere, in what context have we heard it, a positive or a negative one. We group certain words. So for instance, let's see this question here. Crestfallen. Okay. If you answer this, Sambuddha, for me, crestfallen. Tell me. Annoy is also a meaning, correct, of baiting someone. The students baited the teacher. You have to give me the antonym. See, reading the question instructions are important. Read the heading there. Okay. Varun, in such questions, when we talk about possibilities, just think like this. Is there even one diagram where this conclusion holds true? क्या कोई ऐसा एक भी diagram possible है जहां पर ये conclusion true आ जाएगा. If there exists even one such diagram where your conclusion is coming out to be true, that means ये जो भी statement दिया हुआ है conclusion का वो valid है. Okay? So you had to give me the antonym. Now I have got 2, I've got 3, I've got 4, right? देखो, crestfallen, right? It has fallen in it. I'm just giving it to you as a clue, although it's not literally related to fallen. But then, when let's say somebody is fallen, it's not a great, let's say, mood to have, right? Or when somebody falls, it's not something that's related to high spirits, victory, etc. So crestfallen का meaning भी इसीलिए it's a word related to your mood. When you're sad, when you're disappointed, that's when you are crestfallen. You are devastated, right? It's an adjective. So now, downcast तो आंसर नहीं हो सकता था, right? So downcast actually matches in tone. Even if you don't know the exact meaning, okay, then this matches in tone with this. I need an antonym, right? Indolent I gave on purpose because we had covered it in some of our previous sessions. That's why I added this word on purpose here. Indolent, somebody who does not want to trouble themselves even a little. Lazy. Okay, so indolent is lazy. So definitely not an antonym of sad and disappointed. Sad and disappointed का antonym happy होगा. अब इनमें से कौन सा word happy है? Abject. I always relate abject to poverty. They lived in abject poverty. Right? This is a sentence that I read somewhere in school and it just stuck. They lived in abject poverty. So अब ये भी happy sentence तो नहीं लग रहा है. The answer is exuberant. Yes? When somebody is exuberant, I've always heard it in a positive context, right? They are happy, they are enthusiastic, they are ebullient, they are cheerful. So that is going to be the antonym. Fourth. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you. Jayasuman, I don't want to confuse you. See, because you have learned a number of rules related to, let's say, nouns. For instance, in British English, American English, the treatment of collective nouns is different. So, right before the exam, I don't want to confuse you, okay? So, trust me, you will not get British English, American English grammar differences. If at all you get, you will get spelling differences, you will get vocabulary based questions. Why? Because grammar में they don't expect you to know American English wala grammar, right? Vocabulary, because we've heard such words from various American shows, right? So they expect us to know some such words, some such spellings because we use MS Word, right? Otherwise collective nouns का treatment different होता है, which versus that का treatment different होता है, right? So there are differences like that, but please don't get confused, right? One day before the exam, okay? All right. Indolent. See, yes, slothful. So sloth is also what? Laziness only, one of the 7 cardinal sins. So good. See, you create your own associations. Like I created abject poverty. मैंने ऐसे create कर दिया, right? इसका मेरा etymological है, Dolores, right? Then I have also related it to Dolores Umbridge. Okay, so this I have an etymological association. You can have absolutely your own association. This I associate with a book called the Irrational Exuberance. So you can have your own associations. This is for future also. अभी आप IIFT भी दोगे, ZAT भी दोगे. Some of you will take TISNET also. So create your own association. That helps a lot in life. Okay. All right then. Let's come to a poem question. I'm glad that you find my handwriting pleasing, Prerna. I hope this actually puts you in a good mood for tomorrow's exam. So, poem question that is being asked in Snap is a grammar question. It's not a comprehension question. So, please don't be scared that oh, if a poem comes out to be difficult. Although the poems that have been asked in the past, they have been by Sarojini Naidu, Daffodil's poem. Basically, your school level poems that you've already read. But अगर कोई difficult आ भी जाती है, you don't have to be scared because ultimately they are going to ask you a part of speech or a grammar based question from it. Okay, so let's have a look. I chose one such poem which is not a part of your school syllabus, was not a part of your school syllabus. So let's have a look at this. You just have to read it and tell me Which of the following lines, there are 4 lines here, has a proper grammatical structure? Yes. All right. Let's see what you say. Two was synonymous. Achha, sorry. I'm reading something else. Proper grammatical structure. Structure means that, okay, various elements of a sentence, various parts of a sentence are present and present in the proper order. That's what I mean by a proper grammatical structure, right? Okay. More bright should be brighter. Okay. Once in American, yeah, shall and will, which is correct. Okay. Okay. We'll discuss this. Let me see what I've got from a majority of you, right? Eight. Three is something that a lot of you said. Okay. Absolutely correct. Three is the one. By a proper grammatical structure, let me just address this. The question that you got in your exam was that has all the elements of grammar in a proper sequence. All the elements. I should have written this only in order to avoid confusion. Has all the elements of grammar in a proper sequence. That's why I clarified it later on when I realized that you are looking at it as various parts of speech in a proper sequence. If I rephrase this question now like this, I'm sure all of you will say three. All of you will say three only. Yes, because ये तो complete sentence है ही नहीं. Not marble nor the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this. So of princes, this is just a prepositional phrase. Again, not a complete sentence. Not a basically it's not a clause even, right? But you shall shine, right? So we have a subject, we have a verb, right? Than unswept tones, again just a comparison that is present, no subject, no verb. So it is only the third line that has both a subject and a verb and looks like as if it's a sentence. So 3 is going to be the answer here. Makes sense to everyone? Yes. Okay. Okay, Mandeep. Those are some strong regrets that you have. I hope your best friend is not reading this. He or she will be crestfallen if she or he reads it. Yes, crestfallen. So crest is the top of a mountain also. I hope you know that. So crestfallen, right? Uh, Identify the part of speech of the word besmeared. It has been highlighted in bold also for you. Grammatically, you are absolutely right, Risha. More bright should be brighter. Grammatically, strictly grammatically speaking, wherever we can put the EREST form of the adjective, we should do that. हमें वही करना चाहिए. More bright नहीं लिखना चाहिए. Okay. So you tell me the part of speech for this. Let's see what you say. All right. Oh, this is bad. 100 plus are watching and there are only 46 likes. Could you explain these options? Okay, Madhuri. Adverbs describe verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Right? Verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. All right. Verbs, they give an action or a state of being of the person, state of being of the subject. Conjunctions are joining words or phrases. Adjectives, they describe. When I say describe, it doesn't just mean quality, it can be number also, quantity also. They describe a noun or a pronoun. So this is the definition of various parts of speech, just very layperson definitions here. Than unswept stone. Okay, than fine, it's a comparison is happening. Unswept stone. Stone is a noun. Okay, then I am describing it as unswept, adjective. Then the stone is besmeared. The stone itself is besmeared with something. To be besmeared with something is as if something has been painted on you, something has been covered, let's say covered with paint, covered with any sticky substance, that is besmeared, right? So, uh, besmeared. This has been used for stone, right? It can't be used for unswept. Stone को ही तो describe कर रहा है ना that stone is covered with paint. So if it is describing a noun, which part of speech is it going to be? It is going to be an adjective, right? So the noun was right there next to it, and besmeared cannot describe anything else here. So adjective is the answer. Okay, 4 is the answer. All right. I hope this is clear to you. I think quite a few of you said 4, but some of you also said 2. So I hope this is clear why it's not a verb. It is describing stone right here. Okay. All right. So Zenul, just to boost your confidence, in slot 1 and slot 2 last year, general English was easy to moderate, was easy actually, not even moderate. In the third slot, it was easy to moderate, right? So easy level sub में ही था, just that slot 3 में there were a couple of tricky questions also which made it easy to moderate. So just to boost your confidence, remember majority of your questions are on the easier side. You don't have to get a 15 out of 15 from here unless let's say this is your only hope, right? You have to just focus on maximizing your score by selecting the easy questions. Remember that. Don't be perfectionists in any one section. Rather, maximize your overall score. Okay? I hope you'll remember this. Outlive. To outlive someone is to live even when they are not living, when they are dead. That is to outlive someone. So if I say the wife outlived her husband, that means she lived longer than her husband. Okay. Smear is a verb, yes. Besmeared is not a verb here. It's describing the stone. It's describing a noun. Okay, Gaurav? All right. So I hope this makes sense and things are now clear to you. Uh, Basically, the question types, I wanted to discuss some question types and show you how they can be a mix of easy and moderate. So you have to just be selective, just eliminate as much as you can. Right? ऐसे navigate करना सीखो. Okay? Some exam day tips. See, these are some very general tips that you must have followed for CAT also. Do follow them for SNAP as well. Okay, please check at least the time if you're not visiting the test center today. At least check the time that it takes in the peak traffic hours to reach the center. Don't carry any bags unnecessarily. You will then keep on running here and there to keep those bags somewhere. Please use the washroom in a 60-minute exam. You really don't have that bandwidth that you can go to the washroom in between the exam. Carry a transparent water bottle in case you want to have one with you. Okay, and you can carry a ball pen also. Keep the admit card safely even after the exam. Okay, you might need it to check your result and you might require it. So don't just throw it away. Keep it safely with you. They don't collect it, I think. SNAP authorities don't collect your admit card. Okay. Some general well-being tips. Yes, of course, you should follow this after every exam. Idioms questions. Shyam, there are a lot of idioms videos that you will find on our channel. Okay, I have taken a number of idiom sessions in the past. Do watch them. Okay, because the entire chat box is filled with your message. So just for you. Okay. Eat healthy. आज ही अपना बैग लगा लेना, right? That's how my mom used to put it when I was in school. Bag लगा लो जाके, right? So organize your stuff. Okay. and keep your admit card, whatever you'll need tomorrow, keep it today itself. Don't binge watch anything today. Sleep well, stay calm, and trust me, it's an easy exam. It's relatively much easier as compared to your other exams. Of course, don't take any section, don't take the exam itself lightly because of that. Don't make completely wild guesses because of that. But yes, just have realistic expectations. बहुत difficult भी नहीं होता है exam. Right? All the very best to all of you. Error correction tips, Nikita. If the same sentence has been repeated multiple times, then please read vertically. Okay, by reading vertically means identify the differences amongst various options. That saves your time. Okay, so identify the differences. See, okay, once you do that, let's say इन दोनों में एक word use है, इन दोनों में एक word है. So see if this word is correct or not. If it's not, B and C eliminated right there. Okay. Mine is on the 18th. So second slot. Second slot. Alright. So tomorrow Srinivas sir will take the exam and we'll see you for the analysis at 6 p.m. But right after the exam, we'll have a first impression session. Okay. All right. All right. All the best to everyone. Do suggest this to your friends, right? Do some good karma today. Suggest CAT 2023 comprehensive program to those friends of yours who are preparing for next year, right? A lot of stuff available in this. They can even log into our app, BYJU'S Exam Prep app, and access a lot of our free sources, free tests, free material, and then make a decision, right? Uh, as I've already told you, 6 p.m. we'll meet, okay, for the analysis. Then we are starting with the last lab, especially for IIFT, because some of you demanded it. Some of you said that you want to practice IIFT specific questions only. So that's why we started a last lab for this, 10th to 17th December, 7 p.m. Okay, do join us. ZAT 23, see, there's already an All India Open mock free of charge for you, 14th December to 23rd. Do take it. Okay, for that, you do need mocks. You do need to practice previous year papers. ठीक है? And do follow us on various social media platforms. Stay connected via Telegram. Okay, okay. All right. You have to carry your own ball pen. That is mentioned in the admit card. That's why I also wrote it. Okay. Good luck everyone. All the very best. हाँ जी आज जल्दी से खत्म कर दिया मैंने. Right. Relax because you need to relax one day before the exam. Not really, Gaurav. NMAT is an adaptive test, while SNAP is not. NMAT has sectional time limits, sectional cutoffs, while SNAP does not. So there's a difference, right? Okay. Welcome, welcome, Pranav. Welcome, all of you. You can carry pens of as many colors as you want. They might not allow them. That's the worst that will happen. Okay. So just carry pens of various colors. It's okay, right? If they don't allow them, then you can just keep them outside. ये तो बहुत ही non-issue है. Okay. All right. All the best. Bye bye. See you. See you tomorrow. Bye.